Don-deok-jeon, a historic Western-style royal guest house in Seoul's Deok-su-gung Palace, will open to the public today for the first time in a century after being reconstructed in its original shape.
덕수궁의 유서 깊은 서양식 건물로 대한제국의 영빈관이었던 돈덕전이 원형 복원 사업을 거쳐 오늘 100년 만에 일반에 공개됩니다. Wow, for the first time in a century, it's going to open to the public.
This is incredible. I can't wait to go and visit. I love Deok-su-gung Palace because it's a palace of contrasts. It's half traditional Korean and half sort of early Western architecture.
Yeah.
So this is an amazing event. It's a two-story building that was first built during the reign of Emperor Go-jeon around 1901, and it was used mostly as a reception hall and also a place to meet foreign dignitaries.
Yes.
And it was also where Emperor Sunjong, the son of Emperor Go-jeon, took the throne in 1907. So it's all part of this big reconstruction plan to restore the palaces to their original states. Because let's face it, they went through a lot, especially in the early 20th century during the Japanese colonial rule of Korea. They were severely damaged in many ways. And so now we have Don-deok-jeon open to the public. It's built in the European style on the outside, and then the interior reception room is decorated with golden curtains and wallpaper that symbolizes the emperor. It sounds really fascinating.
Yeah, and it's been out of use ever since the early 1920s, or the 1920s, I should say. And so,
Yes.
so after 100 years, today, on this Tuesday, it's going to open to the public again.
I've got a feeling there's going to be a queue.
There could be a line outside this royal guest house. 자, 그러면 표현을 한번 보도록 하겠습니다. 100년 만에 일반에 공개되는 이 영빈관. 아까 선생님이 쓰셨던 표현 중에 dignitaries가 있었어요.
네.
그게 이제 영빈이 되겠죠. Normally, when there's an official speech, you'll say, ladies and gentlemen, and then maybe dignitaries, respected guests, and the list goes on and on and on. And this particular guest house is for those dignitaries.
Exactly, yes. And so a guest house as well is a place where your guests stay.
Yeah.
You and I, Sue, we probably can't afford a guest house because it's normally a separate building to your residence. So, for example, if you look at the big mansions in Europe, you would have the main building, but then you might have guest houses, separate buildings, smaller buildings where guests would stay. And it's the same here in Deok-su-gung Palace. We have a separate building where the guests can reside or be met.
And there are casual guest houses all across Seoul and in other cities around the world as well, where, backpackers can go and stay. That's a guest house for travelers. And,
Exactly.
Maybe people traveling in their 20s.
Well, yes, it can be. It can also just be private residences that are opened up. Yes, so I love staying in guest houses, traditional guest houses. I love Korean yogwan. They're harder to find these days, but traditional Hanok-style yogwan, I think, are fabulous guest houses.
이 게스트하우스도 종류가 워낙에 많기 때문에 우리가 이제 흔히 백패킹 할 때 찾는 그런 게스트하우스부터 시작해서 그 다음에 이렇게 dignitary들이 귀빈들을 모시는 그런 영빈관까지 영어로는 다 게스트하우스라고 부를 수 있을 것 같아요. 근데 앞에 이제 royal이 붙었기 때문에 royal guesthouse라는 데에서 이제 아무나 가서 지내는 곳은 아니라는 느낌이 바로 딱 오죠. 그 다음에는 reconstruct라는 표현입니다.
Yes, to construct means to build or to make. So to reconstruct means to make again, to build again, to rebuild or to renovate. So we can use it for buildings. We can also use it if you've had an accident and maybe you've had some damage to your body or your face. You may have reconstructive surgery where they try to get your face or your body back to how it was before. So we use this term a lot when we're rebuilding or remaking or renovating.
네, 손상된 무언가를 이렇게 복구시키거나 복원시킬 때 쓰는 표현이고요. 건물이 될 수도 있고 지금 피부 이식 얘기도 해주셨는데 이게 신체에 관해서 우리가 얘기할 수도 있습니다. 그래서 reconstruct 한 단어가 되겠고요. Give us an example sentence.
The reconstructed building captures the majesty of its former self.
Well, here's the headline one more time. Don-deok-jeon, a historic Western-style royal guest house in Seoul's Deok-su-gung Palace, will be open to the public today for the first time in a century after being reconstructed in its original shape.